Wer noch glaubt, dass Deutschland nicht wieder ein totalitäres Land sein werden kann, muss nur nach England schauen. Darüber habe ich für heute ein paar nicht so schöne Geschichten, muss ich sagen. Yeah, that's right. England is officially lost. I don't think there's going to be any way to turn England around. And there's a lot of people in Germany that even after COVID have not woken up to the fact that the governments that we have, the establishment government people that have been in government for fucking decades, they are leading us in the wrong direction. They are leading us away from freedom and into a totalitarian, identitarian state, right? Where the identity that is protected are every minority against the will of the general and majority population. That's totalitarianism, people. And it's happening like in broad daylight in England. England is also one of those countries that claim to be a democracy, just like Germany does, right? And neither Germany or England is really a democracy, right? England is already so far down the rabbit hole on totalitarianism that it's insane, some of the stories that are coming out of there. So let me tell you the first one that pops up to me, right? In England, a dude, I think he was Armenian, went in front of the Turkish embassy, the Turkish consulate, and he lit a Quran on fire. Now that Quran was his, he bought it, right? It was his book, okay? And he lit it on fire. And then another dude, comes running out of the Turkish embassy with a knife, like the size of a machete. Maybe it was a machete, it was a pretty big knife, right? And attacks him with it, or wields it, waves it at him, I don't know, tried to attack him. And some sort of delivery driver steps out of his car and kicks and spits on the guy, right? So, look, if you're going to burn a Quran to make a political statement, you are going to have to count with some sort of pushback. You will be not liked by certain people. If there are any Muslims around, you may get attacked. Now, you might have to contend with that as a burner of the Quran, right? But it is still up to the authorities in Western democratic so-called countries to protect your rights over the rights of knife-wielding lunatics, right? But that's not what England did. No, England arrested the guy who burned the Quran, fined him like 240 pounds. Now, for whatever reason, he didn't have to do jail time, right? He's not in prison, as far as I know. And the guy who ran after him with a knife, right, the size of a machete, that guy is not going to be charged until 2027. And meanwhile, he is out on bail in England. So he's not in jail, and he's awaiting a court date for this attack on another person with a knife in 2 years. While the dude who burned the Quran has already been prosecuted through the system and got his punishment right away. Now, to contrast this a little bit, 2 dudes were caught in England with human trafficking, right? They were caught smuggling people into the country, and under their watch, 2 people died. So they're responsible for the death of 2 people by doing illegal activity, that is smuggling illegals into the country. And they got 8 months in jail. 8 months. They were out after 6, right? I think that's what the story. I think they were out after 6. Doesn't matter. Let's say they get 8 months. That's bad enough. Let's say they're still there. So they get 8 months in jail. 8 months for human trafficking into the country where 2 people fucking died. Okay? But of course, they are foreigners, right? So they get special treatment in England. Okay? Meanwhile, a woman who is married to a conservative consular, I think, she, after the Southport attacks, where 3 little English girls were murdered by an Islamist who they tried to say wasn't an Islamist, but turns out he is an Islamist anyway. Then England got pretty pissed off, and people hit the streets, and people were angry you know? And so this woman wrote a pretty nasty tweet. Yeah, she wrote a pretty nasty tweet. She said she didn't care if they burned all the hotels down where all these immigrants are staying with them in it. That's not very nice. No, that's not very nice. But she didn't pay somebody to go burn the hotels down. She didn't ask people to do it. She just said that she wouldn't care. And she has been arrested, and she has gotten 31 months in prison. A regular working class lady from England, 2.5 years in prison for a tweet that she also took down after a few hours and apologized for. Doesn't matter. They came and picked her up. They put her in jail. They ranged her through the court, and now she has to sit in fucking prison for 2.5 years. She didn't kill anybody. She didn't have anybody killed on her watch. She didn't try to traffic people into the country. She just wrote a tweet. That's it. That's all she did. And I know there's people that are out there going to be like, oh, but she must have done something worse. Or she must have said, well, go look it up. Go look it up. I'm not going to do your fucking homework for you. Go look it up. You'll find it. Okay? She has only been accused of tweeting or Facebook posting or whatever the fuck it is she did. She wrote naughty words on the internet. And the English government doesn't like that because it's anti-immigrant. And so she's in prison for 2.5 years while human fucking traffickers who got caught smuggling people into the country and 2 people died on their watch, they get 8 months. Look, guys, that's pretty crazy, huh? That's pretty fucking crazy, right? So you've got the Quran story, you've got that, and there's many, many more stories like it, right? Many. People are going to prison for Facebook posts and tweets in England, which England is one of the founders of freedom, right? The Magna Carta comes from England. You know, England and America have been pretty close allies in freedom across the world, right? They claim to be one of the freest places in the world. They claim to be a democracy, right? And they're putting people in prison for tweeting shit. And those people are also right. They're right to be angry. They're right to tweet things. They're right to out their frustration, but not in England. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this in Germany is because if England, right, that's not North Korea, that's not Russia, that's not fucking Iran or Azerbaijan or some totalitarian hellhole on the planet, that's England. So for you people in Germany who think that we are now not currently on the absolute wrong path, and we're being led down this path by the people that purport to be leaders, even though they're supposed to be servants, right? They are taking us down this path. What is going on in England is not far off for us here in Germany, right? In England, the government is now considering passing a law that makes Islamophobia, which is not a fucking word, right? That's just a word they made up so that they can now bash regular people over the head with it and call it a crime. So they're just making shit up and making it a crime. So they want to make a law that makes Islamophobia like a criminal offense. So you'll go to jail for criticizing the Quran, Islam, Muslims, immigration, all that shit. That's bonkers, people. That is insane. That's insane. You know, and it's especially insane because it's coming from governments and countries where they claim to be a democracy, where they claim to be, oh, we are fighting for our democracy and for freedom. And it's freedom. We love freedom. Yeah, do you? Really? I don't think so. And Germany is right behind England, right? Right behind them. They are right behind them. They want nothing more than to be exactly like England. Not the German people, probably, but for sure the politicians, right? The establishment politicians will want to go down the same road as England. And why? First of all, they are powerless to do anything about the floodgates that Angela Merkel opened in this country. They don't want to do it. They can't do it. They're not capable. They're unfähig. They're incapable of doing that job. The establishment can't do it, right? The AfD could probably do it. The establishment can't do it, right? They are scared of Islam and Islamists. They're scared because they know that if they start fighting against the Islamization of the country, that they will be under threat. Their families will probably be under threat, because, well, I mean, problems usually are solved with violence in that case, when it comes to Islamism and jihad and all that shit. That's how they solve their shit, right? We saw it in France with Charlie Hebdo. We see it everywhere. Everywhere Islamism tries to take hold of somewhere and it gets battled or mocked or questioned in any way, it strikes back with violence. That's what happens. Now, I'm not saying all Muslims are bad or any of that shit, right? I'm just pointing out the facts. The facts are Islamism strikes back with violence, and the politicians in these countries in the West are deathly afraid of that. Now, I get that, but then don't do the fucking job. If you're too afraid to do the job that you need to do as a politician in a country, then don't do it. Because you're just fucking yourself and the people that elected you, right? Then don't do it. If you're not up to the fucking thing, right? If it's too hot in the kitchen, stay the fuck out. That's it. Pretty simple. Does that make you a coward? Yes, it does. But you'll be an alive coward, right? Look at it like that. And people like Friedrich Merz, they're all cowards, right? What is happening in England, that Islamists and criminals are being given special privileges and less harsh treatment than regular British people, right? That smugglers go to prison for 8 months while tweeters go to prison for 2.5 years. That kind of shit is unacceptable, right? And if it hasn't come to the point in England now that the people are going to really, really rise up, right? Really fight back, right? And it hasn't. They're still not. They are still hoping they're going to be able to vote themselves out of this disaster, right? They're hoping Reform in England, Reform UK, will become the next strongest party, and in 4 years they'll be able to vote for them. That's what we're hoping for in Germany as well, that the AfD will be voted in, given a majority in 2029 or hopefully earlier, and we're hoping they're going to be able to do something to turn this shit around, right? And that's what they're hoping for in England. I'm sorry, but we're better off in Germany than we would be in England at the moment. Yes, they are trying to attack free speech here, absolutely. Yes, they are fining people and the politicians are taking people to court, but there's still no prison time for a tweet unless it's something that is actually illegal in the country, right? So we're not that far yet, but we're heading in that direction for sure. The Islamization of the country is also happening, just like in England, just like in every Western country, especially Europe. That shit is over in America, but in Europe, Europe is being overpopulated by people from other countries whose values do not match the values we have in our countries, right? It is happening. I'm sorry, all right? So we're already where England is there, right? We're already where England is there. And the politicians have clearly lost control of this whole situation. And so therefore, the people that think that what is happening in Germany can't get worse, that we can't go back because it's Germany, there's no way we're going to go to a totalitarian system, it's a democracy. You people are dumb as a box of rocks, right? If you can't look at England and say, wow, if it can happen in England, it can fucking definitely happen here. Yes, it can. It is happening here. It's just we're a few steps behind England. If this was a race to totalitarianism, England would be like in first place right now, and Germany would be like on their ass, like running as fast as they can to catch up. That's what that looks like. It's not like it's might happen someday, or if the wrong people are elected, they've already been elected. The wrong people have already been elected over and over and over again. And so we are in the process already in Germany of becoming like England, who also says they're a free democratic country, but don't act like it at all. Right? We are already on the elevator going down with no cable. Okay? Okay. So it's not like maybe it's going to happen or it could happen. It is happening right now. And if you don't believe me, look at fucking England and compare it to what's going on in Germany. And you will see so many similarities. The only difference being England is already cracking down on their citizens with actual totalitarian, tyrannical measures. And Germany is trying to do that with different laws and different shit and Majestätsbeleidigung and blah, blah, blah. They're not hitting as hard yet as England and their politicians are. Not yet. But it's coming if we don't do something about this shit right now. Right? Right now. In the sense that we must stand up against these tyrants. Now, hopefully, today, Friedrich Merz is going to go visit Donald Trump in the White House. And I am hoping that he gets the Zelensky treatment in the White House. I hope that Vance and Trump are both there on camera and they fucking yank Friedrich Merz's fucking baby pants down in front of the whole world. That's what I hope happens, right? And it could. Now, it might not if Friedrich Merz is smart and knows when to keep his mouth shut. But if he tries to fucking antagonize Trump in any way, right? If he tries to beleer Trump, right? If he tries that, he's gonna get his ass handed to him on live television for the world to see, and he's gonna look even stupider than he already does. You know what I'm saying? People are not gonna fucking believe him even more than they already don't believe him. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The guy is gonna get his ass handed to him if he's not careful. I really doubt he's going to have the big boy mouth like he does here in Germany when he's here, far away from Donald Trump. He talks big game, the Friedrich Merz, yeah? He talks big boy talk, right? But now he's in the room with the actual big boys. Now we're going to see what he's got. And Trump probably won't let him off light, you know? He probably will not let him off light. But if Friedrich Merz is going to make this into a dick measuring contest, Donald Trump is going to slap him with his dick. That's what's going to happen. He's going to look stupid. And I hope kind of that does happen. Because the more that America puts pressure on the German politicians to quit this fucking totalitarian direction, the better it is for us as people who live here. And since the people who live here aren't at the gates with pitchforks yet, right? And don't want to have to get into some sort of violent revolution-style confrontation with the government at some point, we can only hope that the direction will change before it comes to that. But it will not change on its own. It's going to need pushing and nudging, and I hope that Trump does that to Friedrich Merz today. They need to understand, these politicians in Europe must understand that they are not in a position to impose any shit on America. You know what I'm saying? And they should heed America's warnings, right? And that would be great for us as citizens, because right now, America is the only one standing up for us in Europe, the people, right? None of the politicians, except for the ones in certain countries, right? Austria with the FPO guy, Kickel. We've got Geert Wilders, who just showed backbone and stepped down in Holland because pulled the government because they couldn't make agreements on the immigration. We've got George Meloni, we've got Viktor Orban, we've got the guy in Slovakia, now we've got a dude in Poland. So our ranks are getting bigger, right? Our ranks are getting bigger. And the establishment all over Europe sees their power is going away and moving into new hands. And it would behoove them, right, to start treating the citizenry with more respect and stop trying to take away their freedoms and their rights, telling them what to say, telling them what to think, telling them how to live, telling them what heater to install. They should back off that and just do their job and let us just live, right? Because if they don't, then it's over for them politically, and they know this. So let's hope that Trump gives them a push in the right direction to save themselves and our freedom here in Germany. And we'll see where it goes. I'll be very curious to see. Of course, if there's nothing to talk about tomorrow, I'm not going to mention it. You know, if it's just some boring ass meeting with like the blah blah, then it's not worth it to me. But obviously, if there is some sort of Trump-Merz confrontation, I will definitely have my opinion on it. It's going to be fun. So let's just hope we get to see Friedrich Merz ass whipping today by Donald Trump. It'd be great. All right, guys, that's it. Let's not become England. All right, please show this to people who are in your circles who think that Germany can never be a totalitarian state again after the Nazis. And just look at England, right? Just look at England. They helped defeat the Nazis, and now they are the Nazis. And that's where we're headed in Germany. Just saying.